Can you tell us about the Japanese caste system? Also, why aren't scholars around the world researching on this like they do for the Indian one? The Japanese caste system. Um, so, look, any functioning society that's been around for a long time and it's advanced, it's going to have division of labor, it's going to have social stratification, it's going to have various social groups, so various castes. So the Japanese society before the Meiji coup, the Meiji restoration, it had four major divisions in society. Four major divisions in society. That reminds you of the Chinese system. Okay, China for China for occupations. What was the Chinese for occupations? The Chinese had a four tiered caste system, four categories of the people. You had the warrior nobles, the Kshatriyas. Then you had the peasant farmers. Then you had the artisans and craftsmen. And you had the merchants and traders. And you also had other, you know, straight out of society that you don't mention here. And this is similar to the Japanese system, the Shinokosho. Japanese Shinokosho system, which once again had four major divisions of society. You had the samurai at the very top. The samurai were the Kshatriyas of Japan, and then you had the farmers, and you had the artisans, and you had the merchants, and so on. You had four divisions of society in Japanese society and civilization. But you also had another level of society, which was the outcasts, the Eta and the Hinin. The Eta were called the great filth, and the Hinin were called the non-persons, non-humans. And today, these people collectively are called the Burakumin. So the Eta were people who were engaged in very degrading professions like butchery of animals, slaughtering of animals, skinning of animals. So you see, Japanese culture for about 2000 years has regarded killing animals as sinful. It is sinful not just in the dharmic sense, Hindu Buddhist sense, but also in the Shinto culture. The Shinto and dharmic culture are very similar. So killing animals was ill, right? That's how it was. And Japan was a vegetarian society for about 1,000 years. They used to eat fish, but they would not kill animals. And the Meiji coup, the Meiji restoration, forced Japanese people to start eating beef, right? And that led to revolts and a lot of strife in society. It was believed that because the emperor had set the example by eating beef, it was believed by a lot of people in Japan that the gods would now desert Japan and a big catastrophe will come upon Japan. Kind of happened, didn't it, eventually? Yeah. Anyhow, so in Japan, you had these two outcast groups, the Eta and the Hinin. And the Eta were the people who would do slaughtering of animals and the skinning of animals. They would also serve as executioners who would execute human beings, people who were sentenced to death. And the Hinin also did certain other functions in society that were regarded as not desirable or that sort of thing. So these people today are called the Burakumin, and they kind of still are to a certain extent discriminated against allegedly in Japanese society. Most people will not want their daughters to marry a person from that group. The people who belong to the Burakumin category, many of them are part of the Yakuza, which is the Japanese mafia, that sort of thing, and so on. So that's about the Japanese caste system, but it's not something that's limited to Japan. You had the same sort of thing in China as well. You had the same sort of thing in Europe. In France, you had a social group, an ethnic group, or whatever it was, called the Cagots, Cagots, Cagot. Let's Google that as well. Why not? Since we are doing this, okay. Where is Google? Okay, let's Google this. Cagots, Cagot. So the Cagots were a persecuted minority group in Western France and Northern Spain who were treated abysmally. They were treated horribly. They were not allowed to use the same water as the regular people. They were not allowed to enter churches from the same door, and they would be killed if they married a regular person, and so much more. Terrible discrimination. And no one knows what is the origin of this. You also had the gong farmers in England who were treated like outcasts, and also in France, and so many more examples in various parts of the world where you have these social groups that are regarded as, well, outcasts or untouchables or whatever. You have this all across the world. And why do scholars not do this? Because this the that is reserved for Hindus, right? Only India is supposed to be vilified for the so-called caste system, even though we do not have a caste system. We had a Varna Jati system, which is different from a four-tier caste system. Four-tier caste system was imposed upon India by the British, and it's been now enforced and made into a reality by the government of India today. Right? Today, caste is everything. You get reservations based on castes. In China, everybody wants to become as advanced as possible. In India, everyone wants a backward caste status. Everyone is trying to go backwards in India. So this is the difference between India and China. But anyhow, that's the deal about the caste system. Every country has it. Every culture has had it. It's not like it's something that only India has seen.